So it's been about a week since I released my compressor plugin called Curvature, and in that time, the feedback that I received has been polarized into two groups. Almost universally positive feedback from people who bought it, and a huge amount of hate from people who didn't buy it. Not only has there been a large amount of comments hating on my plugin and spreading misinformation about it, there's also been a massive uptick in hate and misinformation spread about me personally. Just all of a sudden, there's a bunch of people trying to destroy my reputation and discredit my career as a mastering engineer and audio professional. And why is this? Is it just a bunch of jelly haters? Well, I don't think so, because it has all of the hallmarks of a coordinated smear campaign. So who's behind it? Well, I don't know. But obviously, I've pissed some people off. And in the misattributed words of Kurt Cobain, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Maybe there are people who make millions of dollars from selling bog standard DSP code just with a pretty interface. And maybe these people don't like the fact that I'm objectively proving this. Now, unlike my adversaries here, my approach isn't to furiously attack with a machine gun of ad hominems, straw man arguments, and random defamation. Instead, my approach is to simply shine a light on the truth. And how do I do that? Well, just using an analyzer plugin, and that way you can just objectively exhibit what a compressor is doing, and you can erase all of the subjectivity out of the equation and just show the measurements. And until I started making compressor analyzer plugins, there was almost nothing on the market that did this, and the few things that did do it didn't do it all that well, which is why I made Delta Expose. But the problem with Delta Expose is that it only worked in Reaper and it was very difficult to set up. That is, until now, because I've just made version 2 of Delta Expose. It's already live on my website and it's incredibly easy to use because everything just happens magically, automatically, and you can use it in any DAW now, not just Reaper. You can use it in Logic, Ableton, Cubase, FL Studio, and yes, it even now works in Pro Tools because I've now just got all of the licenses and everything from Avid and Pace, so I can now sign AAX plugins finally. So now all of my current plugins are available for Pro Tools, including Curvature and Delta Expose, but also my versatile compressor and saturation plugins, which are both completely free. And I've also increased the accuracy of Delta Expose to 1 sample per pixel. And so for plugins that have oversampling turned off, the lines are now insanely crisp and you can zoom in to a ridiculous amount with sample perfect accuracy. And so you can see exactly what a compressor plugin is doing. So everyone who is spreading misinformation about my analyzer plugins not being able to accurately inspect the behavior of a compressor because it's not high enough resolution or something, bullshit. It's literally sample accurate. You can literally see 1 individual sample per pixel, and that's on the highest zoom setting, and obviously you can zoom out and see more. So anyway, back to my compressor plugin Curvature. A lot of people wanted to see a demo version. I got flooded with emails of people saying, where's the demo? Where can I download the demo? Well, there wasn't a demo, but everyone wanted a demo, so I listened to you guys, and so I've made a demo. It's now downloadable from my website. As of now, it's live already, so if you just download it, it will be the demo as default until you activate it, and then after you activate it, it will permanently transform into the full version. So you can use my analyzer plugin Delta Expose against me. If Curvature isn't all it's cracked up to be, well then you'll see it in my own analyzer plugin. And in an industry driven by marketing hype and subjective bullshit, very few companies are going to hand you the tools necessary to debunk their own products. But I do, because I don't sell my products based on nostalgia and celebrity endorsement. I sell my products based on facts. But anyway, last week for the release of Curvature, I gave a 10% discount. But a lot of people were waiting for the AAX version, the Pro Tools version. And now that's up on my website, I decided to extend that 10% discount for another few days, just so it's fair for everyone. The Pro Tools users can grab it with that same discount. So you can use the same code, Black Shoals, at the checkout, so you get a 10% discount on the plugin, but only just for another few days. For anyone who already bought Curvature, I've already issued the first update, and based on your feedback, I put the sidechain gain knob on the front page. A lot of people requested that. And also I had a couple of requests for some other features. One person suggested a randomizer button, and I thought that was a really great idea, so I've now added that too. You can now just bash the random button and get a completely different sound instantly based on the algorithm that you're in, it just randomizes all of the parameters. So it's a really cool creative thing that you can do. Just make sure to turn down your speakers because it can get crazy. So thanks for whoever suggested that. And I fixed a couple of things, like for example, I didn't realize that in Logic and I think Luna as well, it wouldn't load as a mono instance, but I fixed that now. And there's a couple of other things I've added to it. I've changed positions of the attack buttons to be below the algorithms. That was based on some feedback from another pro engineer. And I've integrated a few things. There's also a hint, if you can find it, at what I might be working on for an upcoming algorithm as well. So for everyone who already grabbed Curvature, you can just download the new version and get that update if you want. Just replace it and away you go. You don't need to reauthorize or anything like that. And for the version 2 of Delta Expose, I've done some really tricky coding to make it just automatically do everything magically for you. So there's no longer that threshold slider. You don't have to set anything up with the routing or anything like that. It's extremely easy and quick to analyze compressor plugins now. You just put the generator instance, the compressor plugin you're interested in analyzing, and then the analyzer instance, and then you can instantly just see what is happening on the compressor. You don't need to set anything or do anything. It's extremely easy, and that was extremely tricky coding to set that up, but now I've done that, I'm really happy with how that is working as well. As I say, it's also out for Pro Tools now as well. So anyone who had the original version of Delta Expose, you will be able to upgrade that for free as well. And for anyone who hasn't bought Delta Expose yet, I'm going to extend that same 10% discount using the discount code BLACKSHOALS at the checkout, and you'll also get the same 10% off for Delta Expose. Now, in my next video, I'm finally going to move on to some drum recording content, which I've been meaning to do literally now for months, but I've been completely focused on plugin development. Before that was the speakers, so it's been super delayed, but I've got some really interesting drum recording content coming up that I'm going to be discussing mic pre's, especially variable impedance mic pre's, and whether you need to spend more money and get a higher end mic pre, and whether that actually makes a difference. And I'm going to just demonstrate with audio examples, does that make a difference or not? I'm going to be comparing dynamic condenser microphones and busting a few myths with that, drum tuning and damping, and different snares, even different sticks. So we're really going to go into some detail on drum recording in my next video. It's going to be a series of videos, so keep your eye out for my future videos on drum recording. I'm going to have the first one ready hopefully next week.